Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is DMAC, and today I'm looking at this very nice Kasp. This is the American 1100 clone aluminium body with the anodized finish. This is the 14040 model. These are actually quite tricky padlocks. I think a lot of the American clones are not as good as the American 1100. Not as tricky picks. They look just as nice, but perhaps the insides are not quite as good. The reason this one can be quite tricky is because we've got this paracentric keyway. Nothing like the American 1100 lock, more like a Yale style keyway. And yeah, we've got this lump of ward in there, and we need to really pick this off of this shelf of ward in there on the right hand side, which doesn't give us a lot of room to maneuver. To pick these, I use this Lawlock Scimitar pick. I can never pronounce it. Fantastic pick either way, quite low profile, very thin, and it seems to get into these locks very well. This particular Kasp has been in my collection for a little while now, and it's stayed with me because it seems to have very good bitting and is a very tricky pick. It's the perfect storm of a lock in that it's a fairly basic lock in the grand scheme of things, and a lot of these are easy to pick. I think I've had 5 or 6 over the years. This one has stayed with me because it is particularly tricky to pick. There are a couple of 0 set pins, I think, or at least one 0 set pin and one low set pin in there, which means that yeah, getting in that keyway is quite problematic, because you can see, I hope you can see there that the pin there is resting on the ward-in. So you've not got much room at all in there to maneuver. I think it's a 6-pin core, serrated pins and spools and that sort of thing. So yeah, if you can find one of these locks with decent bit in, they are definitely a challenge. So let's try and get this one picked open. I'm going to put him in the vise today. I would usually pick him in hand, but I just find that doing that on video means that all you tend to see are my hands, so I just want you to see better into the keyway there while I try and get him open. Okay, so top of the keyway, and we're going to go in with very small movements and very delicately try and get this fella open. So as I click on 2, very small movements and just sort of tickling these pins to try and get a binder, try and feel something that responds to my movements. I think I dropped something there. Yeah, I think that was one I dropped. That was 4, I think, felt like it overset. Like I say, we need to make very small movements. That's 5, small click. That was 4, I think, but that felt overset. I'm just going to drop off a little bit of tension there. Okay, that was 1. There we go, that was 4, and we got a full set there, which tells me we're on the spools. So hopefully, if I don't overset anything else, we should be able to get this one open. I think that's 5, giving me counter rotation. But that did feel like I overset something. I may have hit one of those 0 set pins. So I'm going to let a bit of tension off. There we go. Something dropped down. Let's go back in. Like I say, on this particular padlock, it is so easy to overset the pins. You've got no room at all to move down the keyway. Very difficult to feel what's going on. Very minimal feedback. And super easy to overset. There we go, we've got our full set back. I think that was 5 or 6 that I touched. Okay, so let's just try to find where that spool is. So I've got light tension now, and I'm just trying to very gently feel. That's 4, I think. And we got a click there and we lost our full set. Another click up the back and we got it back. Right, I think we're chasing our tail a little bit with this one. Like I say, this this particular padlock really is a tricky one to pick. And if you can find one of these with good bitting, like I say, it's definitely one for the collection and will always keep you on your toes. Okay, I think that's 5, giving us a little bit of counter rotation. Steady as she goes, and there we go, we're open. Well, that was definitely a bit of a fight. I'll zoom you out so you can see what's going on. And there we go, we have got this one open. So let's just raise this camera up a little bit. There we go, that's a bit better. So you can see what's going on. We'll gut this one, have a look at the key, which I've got over here somewhere. There we go, there's the key. So as you can see there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got a very high in the front there. I think it's 2, 3 is a 0. I think it's 3 is a 0 and 4 is very low. And then we've got highs in the back as well. It just means that, yeah, navigating past that ward in there is pretty tricky with these ones. So let's open him up again. See if we can gut him. Have a look what's inside. That's the wrong key. There we go. Okay, he's open. Let's get the core out, have a quick peek inside, see what we've got. Just like an American 1100, we've got this little kick cylinder in here. Okay, we've got a clip on the back. Quite tight on there, tricky to get off. Almost there, there we go, he's off now. And like the American 1100, I think we've got this little protrusion on the back of the core for the actuator. So let's just be sure to not over rotate him as we pop the core out. Grab the small follower. And there we go. And there you can see, let's just have a look there, get in focus. I think we do have counter milling on this core, as you can see just there. I think chambers 1 to 6 are very slightly counter milled, which causes problems. 3 is 0 set, I think 4 is a very low set pin. And that's what causes us problems, because we've got to set these guys in the front, set these guys at the back, and not disturb pin 3 and 4 too much. Certainly not pin 3 at all. Let's just dump these ones out and see what we've got in the top. Okay, so like the American 1100, we've got serrated key pins there. I think 1 and 5 are standard and the rest are serrated, and we've got these long key pins there guarding the keyway with serrations on, which interact with the counter mill in there in the core. Let's try and get that in the light there. You can just see that there, which does make it a little bit more tricky to pick. And let's see what we've got up top. So in 1 we have a standard, in 2 we've got a T-pin or anti-bump pin, which you can see there. I think in pin 2 as well we've got a stronger steel spring, which causes more problems. And then we've got a spool in 3, spool in 4, spool in 5, and a spool in 6. Just arrange these pins for you and I'll give you a close-up. There we go. Try not to get too much reflection off of this lovely tray. There we go. So yeah, we've got steel pin, anti-bump, spools in 3 through 6, and then these serrated pins down the bottom. So there you go. That's my pick of this Kasp 14040. Very nice padlocks. I recommend them. I think when Lockpicking Lawyer did his series on the 1100 locks and also the 1100 clones, I think this one came out on top, which certainly led me to buying a few of these. Like I say, I think I've had 5 of these over the years, a few of which were relatively easy to pick, perhaps a bit disappointing. This one in particular was very challenging. I've also got another one there in a nice pink or red as it's described. I think that one's got some reasonable bitting on it. Let's try again. Some reasonable bitting on it, that one there. Some highs and lows as you see. And that one's a tricky little pick as well. Not quite as tricky as this blue one, but certainly one that I'm going to keep in my collection because it keeps me on my toes. And like I say, in that keyway there, very paracentric, difficult to get into, and when you've got those 0 sets, you've really got no movement at all on that side warding to get up there and pick it. So I think it keeps the discipline quite strong. So there you go. That's my video on the Kasp 14040. So yeah, thanks for watching and bye for now.